If you are here, you have taken an active role in bettering your life, no matter what stage of life you are in. The Banyan Treatment Centers podcast will discuss many topics like recovery, addiction, self-help, mental health, and so much more. It will provide you with tools to succeed, ideas for recovering, and how-tos on creating a better life.
My name is Alyssa, and today's episode discusses the differences between luxury and traditional addiction treatment. Today on our panel, we have Jenna Weber, licensed clinical social worker and clinical director of Seaside Palm Beach, and Chris T. Jones, former NFL player and director of operations for Seaside Palm Beach. Thank you guys so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Treatment for substance use and mental health disorders can vary greatly, as there are many methods and approaches available, such as traditional or luxury treatment. While the ultimate goal is always the same, to help those who are struggling, it's important to recognize and determine which type of treatment would be most favorable for that individual. In this episode, we will dive into the worlds of luxury and traditional treatment, discuss the similarities and differences between the two, and explore the benefits they offer. Join us as we explore the different types of treatment facilities and discover which type of treatment is most beneficial for you or a loved one's recovery journey. So let's just start off by discussing in what ways treatment helps individuals break the cycle of addiction, regardless of traditional or luxury. Why is treatment so important?
For me, as being in recovery, I know that treatment was I needed it. That I know that it was a time in my life that I was free falling, destruction, couldn't manage my life, the depression took over so bad, hanging out with people that I would never think I would hang out with. And once I realized that I needed help, because I was avoiding the help, but after I know that I needed the help, treatment was tremendous for me. And to let me know that it helped me fix my life back together, that I needed that guidance again, because you think about it, me being as a former NFL player, I was looking for that structure again, because I lost the sight of having structure. And by me diving into treatment, by going to my groups, doing my clinical sessions, and just learning my steps, that really was beneficial for me.
Yeah, and for me, I think coming into treatment lets someone's substance use come to an immediate and quick halt. And they get the medical care that helps them detox from whatever substance they're taking in a safe way that limits their withdrawal symptoms, because a lot of times that can keep someone going back out if they're trying to detox at home or something like that. If they're finding that they get to a certain point and they just go back and use because it's too painful, right. Coming to somewhere that they can be in a safe environment where they get around-the-clock medical care, medicine that helps them get through that point. And then like Chris said, it brings back structure, routine. They get clinical services to find out why they were using, what the underlying, what they're using substances to cope with. What are they avoiding by using? And they can do all that in a treatment center. And that's a lot harder to do in an outpatient setting.
Yeah, of course. It's always so ironic that so many people fight going to treatment, because so many of them, once they get to treatment, they just feel like a wave of relief. I don't have to keep running in the hamster wheel every day. They're able to hit the pause button and work on themselves and do it safely. So what are the primary differences between luxury treatment centers and traditional treatment centers?
So what I would want to say is that treatment, whether it's a traditional program or a luxury program, is really important. And there's they come with, different modalities, different amounts of therapy and things like that you get. But either way, it can be life-saving. What I think really separates a luxury treatment from a traditional program is the extra level of concierge service that you get. And it's going to feel like a 5-star resort, while also being really intensive in the clinical and medical services available. The number of therapy sessions you get per week in a traditional program is maybe 1 to 2 a week, which would be like around four sessions in a month. In a luxury program, you get 2 to 7 a week. So the amount of in-depth clinical work that you can do in a smaller luxury program there's just more you can do in that setting because of the high staff to client ratio. And also the amount of time that the providers can spend with you is going to be more in a luxury program. Our providers at Seaside can see a client for an entire hour and a half if needed, because our census is low. And we cater towards clients that want that level of care. That's not possible in a really large facility.
Well said. Especially you got to understand when from a difference from a traditional and then a luxury, that a lot of the individuals that come to the luxury, that, these Fortune 500 owners, you got for our amenities, that from the auxiliary service, from massage, Reiki, acupuncture, chiropractor. You got to understand that they go out, Seaside I can speak of, that we make sure that they go out golfing, for they can understand that they don't have to have the drinks no more, and they can come back to their therapy sessions and really dive in and talk about if they had any triggers by being on a golf course or being on a private charter boat, folks, because we send them out fishing also. We do a lot of activities, sometimes like on weekends. We let them go to the 5-star, well, we get 5-star dining here at Seaside, but we still let them go to, as a group, going off-site. The ones that's on residential level of care, that they can go off-site to some of these nice restaurants where they can experience ordering their food and not having to have a drink. Or they can, opportunity to be like, hey, I don't need a drink menu. Just bring me the regular menu. Just those little things right there is key to them, because they come back and really dive into their therapist to really talk about those things. Because, what's granted, especially if you're an alcoholic, you have a problem with alcoholism, that you go into a nice restaurant, your first thing is you already got your beverage on your mind, what you already want to drink, whatever type of food you want, your wine, or you want a different type of drink. So those are kind of things that we highlight here at Seaside, and I can truly see that the patient that struggles with those things, that especially if they're here for 30 days, they really find the tools that they can be successful of going to do that.
Yeah, one of the things that you touched on was the clientele that are here, right? And I think that's probably one of the most important differential factors when it comes to traditional treatment, is that, somebody who runs a company or, is a celebrity or a professional athlete, we're not saying that their addiction it's the same addiction as anybody else. But there are different levels of security that they require, different levels of privacy that they require. And we go the extra step for those individuals. So if you want to touch a little bit on, some of those unique things that we do for them.
Sure. Yes, I know that from an operations standpoint, with our GSCs, the guest service coordinators, because that's one thing, we have a concierge approach here. I know when we go off site, I know that's one thing that here at Seaside, that on a weekly basis, I check in with the Palm Beach Shores Police Department and all of that, making sure that everything is copacetic on the island, because we know what type of clientele that we have come in here, that we make sure that the guest service coordinators have a change of shirt when we go off campus, because we do not want them to know that they are in treatment. Right. And that's something, we protect their identity, and for help, we don't want to breach into that. That's why we got the luxury vehicles also when we drive them around the community. So that's one thing we take pride in here. I know the 10 years I've been here, me and Jenna, that's one thing we take pride in, that we never had one client here help a breach. So we take pride in that.
Yeah, and we can even do things like change someone's name in our medical record system, so that it's even staff don't know someone's true name or something like that if they're a celebrity. And we just really personalize their care every step along the way. If someone is not able to do group therapy because of their status or their celebrity, we're going to create a tailor-made individual program for them. And my clinicians are capped at 5 clients each, so that they can offer that if it's needed.
Do you have patients come in that struggle with the work and treatment life, and how do we help them?
So that would be something that they really process with their therapist. So all of our clients keep their electronics, their cell phones, their laptops, unless there's a clinically indicated reason to to not have it, and they'd process that with their therapist.
I know we touched on the amenities a little bit, but let's dive into them very specifically. What type of amenities and wellness services do we offer here at Seaside? Because I know we've added so many
Yes,
recently
we're
as well.
excited about them.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so we have massage therapy. I have 2 different massage therapists who are both wonderful. We offer acupuncture, Reiki. We offer chiropractic services. We offer personal training, IV vitamins, which we have a menu of different infusions that someone can get based on what they need. We offer nutritional therapy. We have a 5-star chef. Anything you want, we can make.
That's
and
true.
It's amazing. Any dietary, keto,
TMS.
vegetarian, anything like that.
That's one thing. Chef Greg and his team do a phenomenal job. That's really the highlight of they stay here in the luxury. That it's not nothing that we cannot make for them. If anything that out the ordinary, I know if they want stone crabs, it's in season, we'll make sure we got fresh stone crabs coming for them. I know that him and his team, they have fresh vegetables, fresh fish every day that we can go to. That's one thing that we on the island, the Atlantic Ocean is around us, so that he can actually go pick out sometimes, most likely every week, he go pick out the fresh fish or the catch of the days daily for patients. So that's one thing that the highlight that I always see patients always talk about is the food services here.
Yeah, I think it's important because some of our clients come in malnourished or they haven't been
Yes.
taking care of themselves nutritionally, so they can work with our nutritionist and with the chef to create a meal plan. Sometimes our clients have disordered eating or eating disorders, and so learning to have a healthy relationship with food is really important. So it's really meaningful in the clinical way also.
Are there any other disorders that we can cater to here? Maybe not as a primary, but...
So we're a primary substance facility. So anyone coming into our facility has to have a primary substance use disorder. But we're dual diagnosis also. So we can treat depression, bipolar disorder, anxiety disorders, things like that.
So what do you guys think is the advantage of having a smaller and more exclusive client base here at Seaside and having that, that small group for treatment?
To me, it builds a really cohesive group. And that's really important for healing and for recovery, is to have peer support and to have like-minded people who are in one place all treating the same disorder is really powerful. On the clinical side, I think having smaller caseloads, really being able to personalize each and every person's treatment, whether that's more individual therapy or a different modality or a therapist taking their individual client off-site to do experiential therapy. We just are able to personalize it in a way that a traditional facility wouldn't be able to. So the clinical, the in-depth clinical work you can do here is, I think, a big benefit.
What about aftercare?
Yeah. So we have, every client will get a case manager that's separate from their primary therapist, and they meet with them within 72 hours of them admitting and begin working on continuing care planning. So every single person we want to leave with a plan of how they're going to continue their work after here. So that can include things like stepping down within our program, transitioning to a recovery program at home. It can include having a live-in recovery coach. We've had clients that get a recovery coach that can do business travel with them, things like that. It can include a nutritionist, massage, Reiki, a very holistic plan if they want. So we really try and personalize it to whatever they're really willing to do and what we're clinically recommending for them to maintain once they leave us. So we also have a lot of clients that we recommend and do use SoberLink, a device that has facial recognition technology and is a breathalyzer. And so they use that for accountability. It can be with their therapist if they're ongoing in lower levels of care with us, or with a loved one to help rebuild trust in the relationship and demonstrate and confirm that they're staying sober.
Very interesting. You guys want to talk about the new alumni program here?
Sure.
Yes.
Let my girl, you're doing a great job. I'm going to let you dive in. I'll dive in a little
Just
bit.
because I love it. I get so excited about our alumni
She
program.
love our alumni. I love our alumni too, but it's great that we kicked that off. And it's so special to me and Jenna because we never had that here. Nothing against how the alumni has been going, but yeah, I know how these, like you were saying, the difference in the treatment of luxury and regular treatment. I know that the luxury side, that a lot of these Seaside patients wanted to feel like it's just them, and that they community, and that's one thing that we had figured out, I think, and we highlighting that, and the numbers are just awesome every Wednesday. That they have an opportunity to Zoom in or come personally, and it's just great to see that they come together. That I think they just see it just to see who's coming. And I'm just hearing it's a great feeling, and then it's been a highlight too afterwards that some will reach out to either our alumni coordinator Chris, or Sean, or Jenna, or her team, clinical, or even some of the operations staff, GSCs, because we have a GSC phone, that when they're struggling, that they can have a time to come back and get what we call it, we want to call it what? The retool, when we call it a tune-up. So they want to come back and get a tune-up. So
to prevent relapse if they're struggling but haven't picked up.
So
it's something that we've wanted for a long time. And we just realized we want to do more for our alumni, and we have such a special community of wonderful people in our alumni. So we have this once a week group in person or Zoom, and it's just a wonderful group of people to build support and connection amongst each other. There's clients that are, we're at Seaside in different times, but have met each other through the alumni group and are now supporting one another. And it's been a really beautiful experience for us to see the alumni connect that way. Yes,
especially when we that's one thing. Staying over on Wednesdays, that it is beneficial when we get a chance, because we try to honor being here when we have a guest speaker come in town that been here, and just to see them and love them up the Seaside Love way. And it's just beautiful to see that all the faces on the alumni, the ones who were struggling and broken when they came to see us, and it feel good. That's one thing that we always say, that we don't take tips, but we always tell them that it's just beneficial. You do a nice Google review for us, or and it's great hearing them talk about that. We made a big point in their life the way they at now, that they're so positive that, and when we hear it, we be like melt. It can be like, it does be a teardropper for us, because we see how broken they was when they first came.
Yeah, of course. And, people don't understand unless you work in it or you've been to treatment yourself. Yeah. The opposite of addiction is connection, right? And coming to treatment and building a community and getting to know people, it's like they say that if you're in a plane crash, like you're like trauma bonded to those people. It's like you come into treatment and you're all getting through your traumas and you're all growing as people. Absolutely. And all these employees are helping you along the way, and they're playing a role in that. So you become emotionally bonded. So having that group and having that place to come together, you become family in your own way.
Absolutely.
So it's important to keep that alive for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's something that truthfully we were not doing a good job of. And so that's part of why we're so excited that we're offering it now. And our current clients attend the meeting also. So it's been really powerful for them to see, okay, these people went through what I went through and they're actually doing it. And this is how they did it. And it's not AA based. We borrow the AA speaker format, but we welcome people who do any kind of recovery program, or if they don't do a recovery program and this is their support meeting. So it's like non-denominational. I don't know if that's the right word.
We can use that. That's
do smart, celebrate, whatever you do. If you are an alumni, you're welcome.
I'm sure that's really inspiring for them to see, be like,
yes,
look up to that. I get to be that, I get to sit there and help somebody else too. I can see that continuing for quite some time.
And the opposite too. I've gotten feedback that it was really good to hear from clients that are still fresh, that they're just in it, or they're coming out of the fog of early recovery. So both ways.
So how do you think treatment can help individuals build that strong recovery foundation for the future? Like, what are the things that they're learning in treatment that they're going to be able to take with them for the rest of their lives?
That's a very good question. Yeah. I would say they learn how to live sober. They're going to take a look at what triggers them to use. Do they have something like depression that's going on for them that's been untreated their whole life and they've been numbing with their substance. We're going to help them identify it and treat it effectively. If they have trauma, we want to have them in trauma therapy so that they're working on skills to cope with their trauma symptoms or resolve their traumas while they're here if they're contributing to continued use. We look at relapse prevention, all those components, learning how to treat themselves respectfully again, or rebuilding family relationships that maybe they've been disconnected, to your point of, connection being important. Maybe they've been disconnected from their family, and that could be a really healing component for their recovery to connect here.
It's true. Absolutely.
I think we give them the Seaside love, which Chris Jones is
Absolutely.
the king of that, but everybody deserves to be treated with love and respect.
That's true. That's one thing that we try to prep staff, even when we're having a difficult patient. It's just when that Seaside love, everyone coming together, just loving up that patient. They don't have a choice but to fall in, with the hugs and the love, because they find in so many ways to either want to leave, or they just want to be an a-hole, because they might haven't been getting that love. It's so many other things that's going on. That's one thing I love about my partner in crime here. She have to, sometimes I can get out of place and be like, Chris, reel it back in. We're going to love this person up. And I say, you're right. Because everyone do deserve that when they come to the gates, because they are broken. Sometimes, you've been broken so long, you want to shy away and push people away. And that's one thing that we try to do as a team here is just love them up with the Seaside love, and hopefully that they can understand that we're here for them genuinely. We're not here for them because of what they paid. Right. That's one thing that we try to do for they can understand that once they getting out from a stranger giving me unconditional love, that give you the opportunity to start healing and maybe, giving you that edge to start going to group, stop isolating. That's one thing that we love about our community here with a luxury style. With when you heard yourself and Jenna was saying that the smaller community, that's one thing that we take pride in, not having no one isolate. Coming to eat together, having lunch together, going on outings together. And it's huge. And then they develop that bond once they leave out of here. And that's one thing that we see a lot on Wednesdays when we have our alumni meeting, that they be like, it'd be so good that you hear someone sharing, then they'll be like, hey, how you doing? You doing great. I was there with you. It's great for them to hear that. And then they both saying that they both been doing well. And it's good to see.
Yeah, and I think that the Seaside love and the small community also really helps to resolve shame, because we know shame grows in darkness and dies in the light. And to be able to hear other stories of people that have been through the things that they have, their secrets that they're so ashamed of, that they hate themselves for, or decisions they made in their active addiction that are so out of congruency with who they actually are. It's really helpful to have that community here too. And we also want to the point of teaching them how to live to do things that are fun again, to learn how to laugh over a game that we play in the evening, or with their peers on our daily beach walks or something like that. It's like seeing someone come alive again and without substances.
We do on a monthly basis rent out a private charter boat. Just our community goes on the boat so they can learn how to have fun. And then a lot of them have their own boats, and they can see how they can be out there having fun, being sober. We go to a lot of theaters, different plays. They go weekly to the malls, fine dining once they're on the right level of care. It's really nothing that we don't do. We do a lot of water taxi tours,
kayaking,
paddleboarding. We do it all. That's one thing, because at these luxury treatment centers, like we were saying, the difference from a regular treatment and to a luxury room, that we try to highlight the luxury things that they have in their daily life anyway. So,
because think of just golfing. A lot of our clients have been golfing their whole lives, entertaining, but they've never done it sober.
Right.
So we want to show them you can still do it. You can do it sober, and you can have fun while you're doing it.
So I know we've talked about why luxury treatment is so amazing, right? We have a million reasons why. But, I think it's also important to highlight for those people that can't go to a luxury treatment center and traditional treatment is your only option. What would you say are some suggestions for someone to navigate traditional treatment in the most beneficial way? Do you have any suggestions for them? If they're not able to come to a facility like this, what would you tell them?
I would say for me would be really connect with your individual therapist. In most treatment programs, your primary therapist is your advocate, is your point person, and they're really tasked with creating and completing your treatment plan with you. So if you know what you want to work on and know that in the beginning, letting them know that up front so they can personalize it to the best of their ability. And I would say also getting to know, if you're able to, the directors of the facility. So at Seaside, Chris and I know every single patient. Every staff member here knows every single patient by name. Our housekeeping staff, our maintenance staff, they know our clients personally. They have a relationship. And while that's harder in a traditional program, there's still those people. There's still a clinical director. There's still a director of operations. And so they're the decision makers usually at the end of the day. So getting to know them could be helpful too, and making sure their treatment is as personalized as they're able to get. I
didn't go to a luxury treatment center. I went to a regular treatment center coming out the NFL, and I needed that. I didn't want to go to a luxury. I wanted a traditional one, if I can humble myself again, if I can not just say, hey, I'm tired. I want to get the necessary help. When I was navigating, like Jenna said, I was finding out who was the BHC supervisor, whoever was up a little higher in the chain, to maybe once I got the fog off me, because I did like 60 days. And I know that we had opportunities to go off campus once I was on a proper level of care. And I had fun going to the movies. Again, doing little things, going to outside meetings, all of that stuff at a traditional one. And to this day, I still check in with some of the crew that I was there with. And it's not really, it's not a big difference, is that it's really no difference because you're there to get help.
Right.
You know what I mean? It don't matter if it's luxury or traditional. Their main focus goal should be, hey, I'm here to work on myself and have that selfish act to work on myself so I can be a better person once I leave.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, just from listening to your guys' responses, to me, it's like, if you're not that certain type of clientele, luxury treatment isn't going to benefit you anymore, I mean, aside from additional groups and additional therapy and things like that, of course, the primaries that they're getting. But if you're a more shy person and you're worried about treatment, maybe ask how many clients are there overall. What's the client to staff ratio, or let them know ahead of time so they can inform your therapist. I tend to be a little shy, just you have to, even though it's hard to even kind of say this because you're in active addiction and you're trying to get help and you don't know where to start, but you have to be accountable for your recovery.
Yes. And that includes like doing the work when you're there and going to the groups, whether you love groups or not, trying out the meetings that they offer. All treatment programs that I know of offer evening meetings, whether it's a 12-step meeting or a SMART meeting or something like that. Trying everything and finding your people. Because even, Chris and I, our background is we worked in one of Banyan's largest facilities. Before Banyan, we were a different company at that point, but which was over 100 clients. But our clients would find their people, find the ones that are motivated and that want recovery. And you can still build community and even smaller communities within a larger program as well.
Absolutely.
Is there anything you guys want to add on the topic? Or why do you love Seaside so much?
Oh, I can go on for days.
How much time do you have?
I can just speak for myself, and I know that Jenna probably I know she feel that same way, that it's not a day, not sugarcoating. It's not a day I don't love coming to work to Seaside, because I know that I'm working with a great staff. I got great teammates that we here for each other, and that's one thing we take pride in. When our individual come through our gates, it seemed like they be overwhelmed just by the joy that we come to them individually just to say our name, to let them know, hey, we are here for you. But you might not remember our name right away, but you will be seeing us throughout your stay here, that we're going to love you up. I mean, that's one thing we take pride in, that we get all of the directors, even all the way to our executive chefs. We come meet them when they checking in, for they can put that face of letting them know that, hey, we know that you're nervous. We know you're tired. We know you may be scared, but we're here to give you some love. And then you see that next day, you'll be amazed that some are being grouped, of just seeing that, wow, because they probably ain't got, remember, they could have been called every name in the book before they got off that plane or dropped off. They broken, they can be going through a divorce or whatever, but they come into a family setting because they see we really run our staff as we are family. It's contagious, and that's one thing I love being a part of being with every day when I come to work, that we're here to work. And we're here to do our jobs, and plus we're here to look out for each other and load that patient up.
And I was going to say that too, of the family. It feels like coming to work with family, and we want our clients to feel that. Some of our clients have never felt a healthy family environment, so we want them to feel that when they come in. And I think something I'm really proud of with our staff is how much hope and belief that we all have for every single patient, that no matter how much shame someone's experiencing, no matter what they've done, if they've been in jail or prison, or if they've made a mistake in their company, or if they have depression, that healing's possible for them. And that they know coming here, we're going to do whatever it takes to help them heal and to feel good about themselves again, and to be able to leave here and know how they're going to stay sober.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
I've definitely felt the Seaside level on proproperty tonight. So
yes.
I always appreciate it.
Awesome.
That's what we want. You're part of the Seaside family.
Right. You're welcome here anytime. We love you guys.
Thank you.
Well, we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Remember that growth and recovery are possible, and it can all start today. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Banyan Treatment Centers, and make sure you're subscribing for notifications of new episodes. And please don't forget to leave us a review. If you or someone you know are struggling, call us today at 888-515-7706. Thanks for joining us today on the Banyan Podcast.